Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss the question answers from the workbook on the poem Tithonus by Alfred Lord Tennyson. So grab your virtual seats and let's get started. Now let us have a look at some of the logic-based questions along with answers which have been provided to help you get a better understanding of the text. Question 1. The woods have to fall because nature's cycle of decay and renewal are inevitable. It is uncontrollable. So Tithonus reflects this natural process, stating that the woods decay and fall, symbolizing how it is not in his control to control the passage of time and to allow the life to stop there itself. Question 2. Tithonus calls immortality cruel because immortality without eternal youth is a curse to him. By eternal youth, that is, he is going to continue to grow old, but he will also continue to age. He will not remain young. So he laments, me only cruel immortality consumes because he suffers from endless aging without the release of death. Question 3. Tithonus withers slowly but does not die because he is cursed with immortality but not eternal youth, and despite the decay he cannot die, which makes his endless existence a slow torment or torture, and he says, I wither slowly in thine arms. Question 4. Tithonus felt like a god because he was once favored by Eos and believed himself to be divine because of this special relationship that he shared with her, as is reflected in the line, so glorious in his beauty and thy choice. So he would think that this is going to be a very good thing, I have been the chosen one, but later on he comes to realize how it is a curse rather than a blessing. Question 5. Tithonus compares the goddess with wealthy men because he feels that Eos, like wealthy people, like rich people, had granted immortality without considering the full or the complete consequences. He says, then didst thou grant mine asking with a smile, like wealthy men who care not how they give, just as wealthy men, they don't care or give it a second thought before giving away a part of their wealth. Similarly, Eos granted him the wish without thinking of the end result. Question 6. The goddess remains young and beautiful, whereas Tithonus grows old and withered because the answer is that Eos as a goddess embodies eternal youth and beauty, while Tithonus, despite his immortality, ages continuously, and the line is given from the poem. And this brings me to, soon I will be coming up with a video on the comparison and character analysis of Tithonus and Eos. Do let me know in the comment section down below if you are interested. Question 7. The poem shows that even the powers of God are limited because, despite Eos's divine status, she cannot undo the immortality she granted to Tithonus. And when Tithonus realizes this, he observes the gods themselves cannot recall their gifts, highlighting that even divine powers come with their own set of limitations. Question 8. The speaker in the poem does not want an old saying to come true because, so it would be better if you also give the old saying over here, which is, why will thou ever scare me with thy tears? That is, the saying implies that even gods cannot undo their own gifts, which would mean that Tithonus is going to be forever doomed to his suffering of living forever, aging, and not being blessed with eternal youth while he lives. Question 9. According to the speaker in the poem, a mist rose into towers because, the answer is that this imagery refers to the rise of the city of Troy from the mist, symbolizing its legendary and ephemeral nature. Tithonus reflects, Ilion like a mist rose into the towers to convey the transient yet majestic or magical nature of past glories, the past seeming to be more pleasant to him than the present condition of being in a state of torture. Question 10. Tithonus pities the early people who are happy because they have the power to die. Imagine how he's thinking it's better to die than to live. He contrasts their satisfaction, their contentment with his own endless misery, longing for the release of death which they possess. Let us now have a look at the short answer type questions with answers which will provide you a better understanding of what the text is all about. Question 1. Why does Tithonus call the boon of his immortality cruel? This is because it comes without eternal youth, leading to endless aging and suffering. He reflects, me only cruel immortality consumes. See how he is using the word consumes, which emphasizes the torment, the torture of living forever in a state of decay. Question 2. Describe the place where Tithonus lives with Aurora, the goddess of dawn. The answer will be that Tithonus lives in the realm of eternal dawn, a place characterized by the quiet, distant east, with its ever silent spaces and gleaming halls of morn. This contrasts sharply with the natural world's cyclical delay. Question 3. Explain the circumstances under which Tithonus was granted immortality. So, Eos, the goddess of dawn, granted Tithonus immortality as a favor due to her love for him. However, she neglected to ask for eternal youth, and this resulted in Tithonus's endless aging and suffering. Question 4. What similarities are mentioned between the grant of immortality to Tithonus and the way wealthy people give money to someone? So, the grant of immortality to Tithonus is compared to the way wealthy people give money thoughtlessly, without concern for the recipient's true needs. Tithonus then goes on to note, and then you can quote the line and explain it further. Question 5. Why does the speaker want the goddess to rectify the error she made? So the speaker wants Eos to rectify the error because his immortality without eternal youth has led to his suffering. He pleads, "Let me go, take back thy gift," hoping for a release from his perpetual or continuous torment or torture. Question 6. Give a description of the appearance of Dawn on her chariot. That screeching noise, please ignore, is of my dog in the background. So, Dawn depicted on her chariot is described with radiant beauty. Her cheek reddens through the gloom. Her eyes brighten slowly close to mine, and she rides with a team of horses that shake off the darkness, creating flakes of fire. These are the words or phrases from the poem which you can write, mention, and explain. Question 7. What is the limitation of the gods that Tithonus points out? When does he realize this? This is the typical ISC pattern question. 2 parts. Be careful. Tithonus points out that even gods cannot undo their own gifts. Realizing this truth as he laments his situation, he acknowledges the gods themselves cannot recall their gifts, understanding that his suffering is irreversible. Now, let's move on to the long answer type questions along with answers to give you a better understanding of the text. Question 1. Who has made Tithonus immortal? Why is he unhappy? What does he long for? Now, this is a typical manner in which an ISC question is asked in 2 to 3 parts, and you will have to remember when you're giving the answer to ensure that you answered each question systematically. So, Eos, the goddess of dawn, made Tithonus immortal out of love for him. He is unhappy because this immortality was granted to him without eternal youth, causing him to suffer endless aging and decay. So that answers second question. And what does he long for? So Tithonus longs for the release of death, which would end his eternal torment or torture. And you could quote ultimately, "Release me and restore me to the ground." Look at the words he uses: to release and to be restored. Question 2 is very important, and I think it will definitely come. That is, discuss the poem as a dramatic monologue. So, Tithonus is a dramatic monologue where the speaker Tithonus directly addresses Eos, revealing his inner thoughts and emotions. And this is one of the characteristic features of a dramatic monologue. It reveals the thought processes, the inner thinking, the emotions of the character. Remember how Macbeth comes to the center of the stage and delivers soliloquies? As is a soliloquy in a play, so is a dramatic monologue in the context of a poem. So the poem explores the themes of immortality, aging, and disillusionment. Tithonus's monologue provides an intimate portrayal of his suffering and regret as he contrasts his eternal decay with Eos's unchanging beauty. His reflections on his past and present plight create a vivid emotional landscape which is typical or characteristic of a dramatic monologue. Question 3. How does Tithonus describe his past life as a human on earth? So Tithonus describes his past life with a sense of nostalgia and longing. He recalls watching Eos with admiration, noting how her beauty transformed him and how their shared emotions or moments were filled with passion and warmth. He reflects also on his previous vitality and joy, that is, when he was young and on earth, he was full of energy, full of happiness and joy, and that is in contrast with his current state of decrepitude, of decay, aging, destruction. And how he says, I used to saw the dim curls kindle into sunny rings. That is how he would admire Eos when he was living on earth as a human being. Question 4. How does the poet describe the journey of the goddess across the sky? So the poet describes the goddess Eos's journey with the imagery of beauty and renewal. She rides across the sky with a team of horses, shaking off the darkness and creating a spectacle of light, because remember, she is the goddess of dawn, characterized by light with vibrancy. The lines from the poem are, the wild team which love thee, yearning for thy yoke, arise and shake the darkness from their loosened manes. So her appearance transforms or changes the darkness of the night into the vibrant light of dawn. Question 5. This is also important as a question. It can come, just as I told you, the dramatic monologue question is important. That is, compare Tithonus's feelings and attitude towards immortality in his youth and his old age. The answer will be that in his youth, Tithonus saw immortality as a divine gift, and he felt exalted, cheerful, happy, believing himself akin or similar to God. However, in his old age, he perceives or thinks of immortality as a cruel curse. He is filled with endless suffering and decay. This shift from pride to regret highlights the harsh reality of living forever without eternal youth. And then the lines from the poem would follow. Last question. How does Tithonus try to convince the goddess at the end of the poem that she should not keep him in the east where she lives? The answer will be that Tithonus appeals to Eos by expressing his suffering and the coldness he feels in her realm. That is, this is the final stanza where, despite being in the east, he is feeling cold because of his old age. He argues that his presence in the eternal dawn is a torment and contrasts it with the peace of death. He thinks that when he dies, it will be more peaceful, because even though he is feeling cold and he is placed in the realm of the east, which is characterized by warmth, he is not being able to take in, sink in, absorb that warmth. So he requests to be released and restored to the earth, hoping that she will understand his plight and not keep him forever in the east. See how he says once again, release me and restore me to the ground. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.